Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back everybody for another YouTube video. This is going to be your daily cryptocurrency market update, and we're going to be starting things off with perhaps one of the most important charts you guys should be paying attention to as crypto traders or investors or people that are trying to work out where this market is going on a day-to-day basis. And that is, of course, the DXY, the dollar, the US dollar currency index. So this really kind of gives you a broad overview of the strength or weakness of the dollar. You know, the DXY and this index is essentially made up of a basket of currencies against the dollar. So it's 40+% euro, 10-something% GBP. It's got the Australian dollar in there, a number of Asian currencies in there. And essentially, this is going to give you a good feel of just how strong or weak the dollar is. And we know that dollar strength is bad for Bitcoin and typically the risk on asset class, so also the stock market. And of course, dollar weakness typically gives a sort of grace period for this asset class, like crypto, like the stock market, to see some sort of a move upwards. Now, this is really what I'm looking at. Two scenarios for me. As a day trader, we've been long on the first 2 days. So Monday and Tuesday. Yesterday, we got out just before we saw that spill to the downside. We did have a long on Uniswap, which actually performed. It sort of defied the market and the overall trend. But really, this is the chart that we're paying the most attention to, because what happens with the dollar, and we had sort of drawn this key area of interest for me, and if we could get above it, hold above it like we have done, we're going to see that further continuation. And if we actually stayed below it like it looked like we were doing and continued to sort of break down, that would, if we broke down, that would validate a further rally for the cryptocurrency market. And if we actually regained strength and held the level that we are watching here of significance, we were likely to see further downside for crypto. Thus far, we're making our way back up. You're going to run into resistance around about these levels. So as a crypto trader, you are going to do far better, in my opinion, certainly a day trader, if you're watching this chart, and you could almost essentially trade off whether it's weak or strong. The cryptocurrency market, it has that much of a correlation. And this is something that we've been showing you guys time and time again. I mean, you can see the correlation here is, you know, pretty apparent. Dollar starts to find its feet. What happens to the cryptocurrency market? And it's really interesting because right now, Bitcoin's at this kind of cliff edge, if you will, and we will do some TI on Bitcoin. I just wanted to make sure that everybody is watching this chart, because you need to. Mark my words, if the dollar starts to gain strength and starts to see and climb higher, you're going to see crypto continue to roll. Where are we at today in terms of, and we'll get into a little bit of news, guys. Why is the dollar seeing some strength today? Well, it has everything to do with the UK inflation numbers. UK inflation moves back up to 40-year high as Brits battle cost of living crisis. UK inflation rose in the year to September 2020. As the country's cost of living crisis continues to hammer households and businesses ahead of tough winter. So we are going into a tough winter. It's my opinion that we're in a recession and that things are going to get worse for the markets, and we're going to see more liquidity drained out of them. If you just take all sort of the risk factors off the table, systemic risk, debt failure, yield curve prediction, whatever, and base your prediction of markets on the current monetary regimes that we're in from central banks, it paints a very bleak picture. That's without factoring in, you know, very high inflation, which is demand destructive, because, you know, your money goes less far, you have less readily available money. It's the complete opposite of March 2020, the environment that we're in, and that's going to see continuation to the downside for markets. And there was actually a very interesting thing here. This is exhibit 40% of Americans are having difficulties paying bills. That's in America. You can be damn sure that that's going to be echoed over in the UK and likely going to be, you know, echoed in Europe and elsewhere. You know, we know what's going on. We talk to you guys every single day about this stuff. And why the hell are we interested in all this stuff as crypto traders? Well, it's because our market is very correlated, and we need to now be, and it's only really on this channel and a very small number of other channels you guys get cross-market analysis. You are going to have a huge advantage taking a look at what's out there in the other markets and doing cross-market analysis than you are just being a crypto trader and just doing simple price action or indicator analysis. The best traders out there, in my opinion, are the guys that do price action. So they'll basically trade off what the chart looks like. They won't typically use indicators, or they may, to sort of validate what they're thinking from the price action. But this is the most important chart, and this is really a chart that we've been highlighting. How is today going to set up? Well, given what the dollar's doing, you're likely going to see downside for crypto and the stock market. Had a kind of interesting day yesterday on the stock market. The Asian markets have opened in the negative. You've also got gold, which is down. Huge correlation here between gold. I think gold is going to come significantly lower, and I will be buying it if I get that opportunity. Also, we've got the UK market down. And it's looking like the futures are wanting to sell off. So in my opinion, we're going to see downside for crypto. It's frustrating being a crypto trader right now because the volume is just pathetic. It worries me that nobody wants to trade this market anymore. We're seeing bigger moves in gold currently. We're seeing bigger moves in the US stock market, which actually has a lot more volume or liquidity, I should say, needed to move it. It's a far bigger market and it's outperforming us in terms of percentages. So we've almost moved away from crypto and Bitcoin being this sort of higher beta asset into this kind of, lull where nobody really can be asked to trade it. And it frustrates the hell out of me as a trader because this has been a nightmare to trade. This has been an absolute friggin' nightmare. In fact, it's been a nightmare really since here. And essentially Bitcoin has just been consolidating now for the best part of 120 plus days. In my opinion, it leads to that further downside. This is what I mean. You're on a very much cliff edge right now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to see continuation downside. We're short today, and we're probably going to look to add to those shorts. The reason why I think maybe crypto doesn't have the bid here is because no one's really going to want to short this because it's at support, and also a long is just risky given the macro backdrop and what other markets are doing. So we're in this kind of no man's land, but the probability, in my opinion, is that we do get a similar situation where once we do spill out of this and we're on this cliff edge and we sort of throw ourselves over the cliff, or Bitcoin's price throws itself over the cliff, you're going to see real harsh downside come in. We've got targets for 13,800. And in actual fact, there's definitely the scope for it to go lower, but we're going to deal with it there. So the real question for me is, how does this spill? One thing that we've said and why we were long on the last couple of days, or one of the reasons, was because typically before you get a spill, you will get some sort of a flush out, and then you get the continuation to the downside. So does something like that happen? It's really what we're watching for, and we're kind of on red alert for that continuation because we ultimately do see it going that way. Certainly, that could be on the horizon. If the dollar starts to come and take out these prior highs, remember, we told you that the dollar was going to rest here based on the fact that it was 2001's prior high. And that, has played out so far. I actually, if I'm being totally honest here, and I was wrong on this, did think that the dollar would have a bit more of a rest period and a more drawn out pullback, which may have seen crypto see that sort of second leg up. Sorry, not second leg up. More of a pronounced upside. But it seems like the dollar is just unbelievably strong, and it has everything to do with what's going on in regards to the FX market. Inflation numbers. The issue you've got with the dollar and betting against it right now is that your other countries are getting absolutely killed off at a faster rate in terms of inflation, in terms of they have less interest rates, so the currency itself bears a lower yield. This is all stuff you've got to watch as crypto investors, and if you fail to understand this, you are going to be at a huge disadvantage to people that do like myself. The game of trading, investing is quite a lot more simple, but I think people should do a little bit of trading because it will actually help you out in your investing. Certainly getting familiar with charts. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and they say, oh, I'm buying this stock. Have you looked at the chart? Nope. Oh, well, I've been told that it's a great investment and stuff like this. And I'll take a look at the chart and I'll be like, mate, I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole, only for it to then sell off, more consistently. The chart will tell you everything you need to know over what comes out of people's mouths. And this is, again, the game of trading is basically about taking money off one another. So you need every single advantage and edge that you can get. And looking at cross-market analysis is a huge advantage. Certainly if you know that there's a huge correlation between the Dixie, gold, the NASDAQ. And if you can really understand that, even the UK market, the Asian markets, if you can really understand all markets and kind of piece that puzzle together, you're going to have a far better understanding and validate what you may see in the price action as a trader. So it's going to be very interesting. The dollar is something to definitely pay attention to. I can see strength for the dollar. I can see, and it was a really interesting day yesterday. We're kind of putting this strength here, but the problem is for me, we'd be looking really on the ES at taking this out. If you can do something like this, okay, maybe you validate crypto. Dollar has to largely support that, but if you sort of start to sell off here, certainly take out here, if you end up in this range, which either side you break of it, is going to be the directional trend, in my opinion. So there is still the room for upside. It's just like, when we've been taking longs over the past couple of days, I posted one on my Twitter. For anybody that's not following me on Twitter, guys, please don't follow the fake account. My Twitter address is @real_all-in-crypto. Anybody, we do post some trades on there. Obviously, if you want to get in with me and trade and speak to me on a daily basis, I do have the Patreon, which you guys can join. It's £30 a month. We make no beef about that. It's not for everybody. We only want people that are willing and actually want to take this seriously. But the thing with longing right now is it's not really a safe bet. Okay, yeah, there's definitely the potential for that sort of spike to the upside. However, you just don't know what the next catalyst is going to be. Like, for example, today, the UK inflation numbers coming out pretty badly. That gives dollar strength, which means weakness for the cryptocurrency market and so on and so forth. And these markets all move in tangent because there's algorithms running, there's bots running, you know, that are essentially programmed to do certain things. When, you know, if the dollar shows strength, they'll be programmed to maybe short Bitcoin or so on and so forth, and sort of, you know, almost not wash trade, but take sort of micro trades based on that. And they'll typically, you know, some of them do quite well as a result of it. So I'm rambling on now. So dollar getting a bit of a bid today simply because the UK inflation came out significantly higher. You've also got the US Treasury yields, which just continue to climb. So this is bad in regards to the dollar. But if these are climbing, it's going to be worse elsewhere. Yields have a huge bearing on the risk on asset class, and so do bonds. You know, bonds have been in a 40-year bull market and yields have been in a 40-year bear market. Remember, there's an inverse correlation there. That changed from March 2020 onwards, and now you can't give debt away. And I actually think what the yield curve is essentially predicting is a debt crisis. I think there's going to be huge defaults on debt because people simply can't afford the interest rates. We're already seeing that in the UK, and it's so funny in the UK and pathetic how these corrupt little weasels continue to blame this or that or this or that. You know, like the mini budget is, you know, everyone's blaming that for the destruction of the UK. No. This was happening because of the damn corrupt, idiotic central bank cartel that is behind it. That's just a small catalyst that potentially helped it along. Whereas this is actually very much set up. It's my genuine opinion that this is a is it planned, or are politicians just that stupid and our central bankers just that thick that they can't see this coming? Or is it planned, and is it designed to take money from you guys and put it into the hands of other people? Subscribe to this channel, guys, because we'll keep you hopefully on the right side of that. You know, it's my opinion that financial education is the most important education because we live in a world where money is power, where money rules the world. It's not how I think the world should be. It's not my philosophical thoughts and what I'd like to see, but you've got to understand that Nirvana is not for this world. And this is just the world that we live in. But educating yourself and understanding the rules of the game before you actually decide to play it, in my opinion, are going to help you out massively. A little bit of crypto news. Banks are future access points for crypto market execs. So we are still, in my opinion, yet to see this merge with crypto and the traditional banking world and TradFi. That's coming. There's no doubt about that in my mind. That is literally on the horizon, guys. And you, in my opinion, and this isn't financial advice, want to be a part of that sort of merge when it happens, because we are not even $1 trillion in terms of market cap. We're going to end up in the multi-trillions, in my opinion. You know, 10 trillion plus. Remember what I'm saying about dollar? You're literally watching it play out. Dollar's getting strength. What's happening with the cryptocurrency market? What's happening with gold? You know, and what's happening with the futures market? Futures market's even coming down on the back end of this. We did actually say that you were likely to get a bouncer and look to trade it, but we're not really trading ES. I don't want to have to become a US equity trader or an FX trader, but if crypto continues to show this lackluster volume, you know, the skills are transferable. We may look to do something. Also, the IRS introduces broader digital asset categories ahead of the 2020 tax year. So the world is moving towards crypto. It's moving towards accommodating it, regulating it, and having it as a part of the sort of broader financial system. And we're not there yet, but that is coming. We've just got this sort of harsh period of recession to face, where everybody's skint and nobody can afford to buy crypto or really anything, which is going to flush liquidity out of markets. Hopefully, me and you guys will be there to pick it up at those discounted rates when the time and price is right. All I've got for you in this video, guys, you want to check out my Patreon, link in the description. You get a lot from me on that. And that's really all I've got to say, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like, I would appreciate it. So a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.